the doc got a little. This is our segment of the show. We usually do a little bit earlier, but we stopped him in the beginning because we wanted to do a prayer. So Doc, this is our moment with the doc and his.
As I was saying in the beginning.
In
the beginning of the show, as I said in the beginning of the show,
in the beginning was the word.
There, in history, when we study history, we pretty much get a British American version of U.S. history, and that covers the 13 colonies and then the expansion. But what we don't get is what took place in America, in the territories, before the expansion, especially along the border of Mexico. Now, if you go and look, you will find that there are over 50 cities in the United States that are named after saints. And the only religion that really promotes saints are Catholics. And so we're not going to get much of a Catholic history in a British Protestant format, okay? You may not know, but England outlawed Catholicism for 354 years. Big reason why the Irish were always at war with them. But at any rate, the Spanish, on the other hand, as opposed to the British, their agenda was to convert the Indians, the Native Americans, into Catholicism. And they even had orders from the Pope to teach them Latin. That's why they're called Latinos. They were supposed to learn to speak Latin. But the soldiers and the people that came, the Spanish that came, they probably didn't speak Latin themselves. So they taught them Spanish. And they were going to teach them Catholicism. But here's the interesting thing that you don't get in history. In order to do that, they brought over Franciscan monks from Italy. They brought over Franciscan monks. And the Franciscan monks were the ones that were teaching the Native Americans to speak Spanish and learn about Catholicism and Jesus. So when you look across that lower portion of the United States, you find St. Augustine in Florida. You come to Texas and you got San Antonio.
He's over there.
All right? Which, by the way, is Saint. Now what? Saint Anthony de Padua. That city.
That's my.
Is named after.
That's my
Saint
patron
Anthony
saint.
de Padua. Now Saint Anthony wasn't Italian. He was actually Portuguese
yes.
from. But he went to Italy and he became a Franciscan monk. So all across that, all the way, and then when you get to San Francisco as well, was all part of these Italian monks, some Spanish, a couple, a few Portuguese, but they were educating the Native Americans. So, but like, just to give you an idea of, I just mentioned St. Augustine and St. Antonio. There's also a St. Paul. But here's one I thought was very interesting.
What, just
Santa Fe in New Mexico. That's not really the whole name.
Santa Fe Claus?
No, it's not Santa Fe. It's called, the real name for that city, believe it or not, is this: the Royal Town of the Holy Faith of St. Francis of Assisi.
That's the name of the town?
That's the actual name of the town. But it's named after his faith. This Italian monk's faith, who obviously became a saint. L.A. is really the town of the Queen of Angels. I don't think too many certain ethnic groups in America want to refer to the Queen, because then they would have to praise the mother of Jesus Christ because she's the Queen. So let's just shorten it and make it L.A. Let's not let people know the real name, okay? San Francisco. That's obvious, right? It's named after Saint Francis of Assisi.
Right.
So we have all these cities throughout the United States named after Catholic monks or Catholic saints, but you don't read about it in history.
San Clemente.
Because we're only going to get a certain viewpoint by a certain group of people. Now, there's an expression, and it's pretty much like this: the winners of war write history. The winners write history, not the losers. And so you have a history in this country that's totally ignored, and I'm just talking about the Italians that don't get their recognition. But there are other groups of people that don't get their recognition as well. Okay, so we have this distorted history in the United States, and what we're seeing is that even that distorted history is being further eroded into something even more distorted. So we're not getting like a true picture of what happened in the United States. Now here's a really great example of one of the 13 colonies. One of the 13 colonies was founded by a bishop, a Catholic bishop. And I don't know about you, but Maryland in no way spells Maryland. It spells Maryland. Because it's named after the Blessed Virgin Mary. So again, here's this distorted version of history that we don't get because we want a certain picture to be taught. So I just like to bring out the Italian heritage or the Italian contribution to American history. There are, I'm sure, you know, that my two colleagues right here can come up with stories and history about your people as well and their contributions.
What is your country named after?
Trinidad? Well, it was the Trinity. Trinidad.
Right,
Exactly.
exactly.
That's what I just
the Holy
recognized.
Trinity.
The
Yeah.
Holy Trinity.
Yeah, the Trinity.
Trinity.
Father,
Right.
Yeah.
Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
So that's my little sharing.
Okay, let's
for
give it.
today.
All right, Doc. All right, Doc. And we got about 10 minutes left
Actually-
before we go. I want.
Do you mind if I just ask Doc one question?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So there's one city that, as you were going through this, I know like St. Paul, Minnesota, but there's another city in Minnesota, St. Cloud. Is that actually named after a St. Cloud?
I would have to look at that. Okay, but I'm pretty much so. If there's this.
Well, what did you just say?
What about
Saint-
San Diego?
What-
'Cause they're the Padres.
San Diego.
Yeah.
San Diego is another.
Yeah.
See, when you see
Diego.
San, S-A-N,
Saint.
That's Saint.
that's really a Spanish or an Italian version for saint. So San Diego is another example. Again, notice where it's located.
So I said
But
San
there are a couple also French saints, because the French also at that particular time in this country, in this region, were also Catholic.
Oh, so maybe that would actually make sense in Minnesota because they have a lot of French people up there.
Okay, so and even down in Louisiana, was a French colony.
Minnesota has a significance too.
Yeah, because
Minnesota itself.
really the state.
Yeah.
How
Wait,
so?
listen to
They're little sodas. They're little nips.
That's right, Minnesota.
No, but Arlette, I want to ask you just a couple things before we wrap it up. Where did you sing? Like, where's where did you ever perform that really you look back on and say that this was like something that I never thought I would
greatest
be
moments,
doing?
yeah.
I know singing at the the Prudential Center or
Yeah.
the IZOD with.
Well, yeah, I mean that would be one of those moments that would have to be there when we won the Stanley Cup.
Oh.
And I did sing the anthem for
The
that
first
game.
Stanley Cup?
The one that I was there for like 2 of them or 3 of them, I think. So 96, I believe.
You were at
Like,
the-
Devils
I-
fans,
you know,
please
I
don't-
sat-
Don't be mad at me.
You know, I sat
2000 and oh god. I don't know
no,
the
in
years.
'96, their first cup.
Right.
I sat
Against the Ducks?
center ice. I sat center ice
Yeah.
behind the visitors bench,
Okay.
and my seats were right next to the Devil's doctor.
Oh wow.
I'm going 1996. You were, no, but I didn't know. No,
I
but
have
no.
a question. When
listen,
you sang, what was the attendance that day at that game?
Oh, my
Well,
God.
I don't know the exact attendance. Of course, so when it's
just Freddie.
playoffs, there's a completely different vibe. There, of course, it's 20,000 people, but they're all pumped. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh,
so it's a
forget it.
totally different vibe. It's just like the whole building is vibrating.
Yeah.
And then the one that I remember, I think it was the 2001 or 2002. I can't remember which one the year exactly. But we were playing against the Anaheim Ducks, and we knew we were going to win. And the whole arena was counting down, and it was just amazing. I went down to center ice when we won, and I remember Martin Brodeur lifted me in a bear hug. Guys, that just made my life.
That's like the Babe Ruth of hockey.
Oh,
Martin
yeah, that
Brodeur.
just made my
The
life.
goaltender Babe Ruth of hockey.
Yeah.
Just-
So that, I mean, in that way, that was one of the.
And he deserved the MVP that year.
Absolutely.
He got robbed from an MVP. Why, I don't know. His record was just as good as the they gave the MVP
To the opposing
to the
goalie.
opposing goalie.
How the heck did you
Well,
do that?
no, for the playoffs
was
they
a
gave it
fixed
to the
job.
opposing goalie because until
Yeah,
they
but-
faced
but
the Devils,
Brodeur
he gave
was-
up 0 goals.
Yeah, but you want to know something? Brodeur, his record was just as good that year. Maybe not as good, but just as good. But because he lost his chance of winning MVPs in the past, he should have got it that year.
I agree with you. He was amazing.
Never.
It just happened to be
Yeah.
that their goalie carried
yeah.
the Ducks the entire season.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
well,
Okay.
I agree, since I can't name another hockey player.
that's an amazing story. Yeah. So
yeah.
you would say that was
I
like
was down on center ice. I
Listen.
remember Whoopi Goldberg was there, and she was like, she's like, what do we do here? I was like, I don't know. We're just gonna hang out. Oh, on center ice with everybody was wonderful. Patrick Elliott, I should just remember him too.
Patrick, I have his
You
stick.
are a
I have
good
one of
luck
his
charm.
sticks.
It was awesome. So that was a nice moment for me and a nice memory.
Yeah, that's. Let me tell you, get thrown up in the air by
Yeah.
Martin Brodeur, man. Oh,
good
man.
God.
Now, also, I want to mention your music. Any websites or
Well, my
iTunes?
website is singarletsing.com. Right now, I mean, Christmas is coming up. I'm gonna have a really beautiful Christmas album. You know, it just like that's my heart. That album, so that's available there too. And just you could just subscribe, say hi, and then I could keep you informed as to what's going on because I have a lot of projects going on. The one that's upcoming right now is that Italian chorus. It's called Ascolta, Parla, Canta. Sing, speak.
Hear.
Listen,
listen,
listen, speak,
speak.
and sing. Because that's how I teach. I teach my courses using music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I teach Italian through song.
Well, I want you to post all your stuff on
I
our
will,
page.
yeah.
Keep us
Yeah, it's
updated.
pretty cool.
Any events in the 2021 season, if we could be there, we would definitely come. And listen,
Yes,
everybody.
you're my new besties.
Huh?
You're my new besties.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, when we first met, we were all friends. You know,
Yeah.
like that Orange Festival was a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and we do our best to try to like spice it up a little
Yeah,
bit.
I remember.
And
How did
I'm
you-
looking
how-
forward to next year,
How did
hopefully.
you get connected with the Orange Festival again?
Oh my God! Through Lucy, yeah, it was through Lucy. Yeah, just I can't remember originally where it
How
was.
you connected.
You know, but I remember we did connect, and she just made sure she had. At first, it was Luigi and I used to do it, and then I did it when we split. Then I did it.
Well, I got a
Well, Nona-
proposal.
Yeah, excuse me. Just Nona's birthday was
No,
recent,
no,
yeah.
no. Oh my God! I see her and I remember my
Happy
mother-in-law.
birthday,
who's-
Nonna.
Yeah. Oh God.
I have a proposal
Love
that
Nonna.
I'm working on, and I'm gonna invite you because we wanted to go to Italy this year, Ian, and the COVID out of all countries, COVID
Yeah.
hit Italy the hardest.
Yeah.
But I have a house there, and we
your
got to
house?
fix it
Sicily?
up. It's in Avellino.
Okay.
It's in a paese called Andretta, and about 1,500 people.
Okay.
But it's a big house. I guess I could squeeze about 5 bedrooms, 6 bedrooms.
You say you could fit 15 people.
I know.
No, I could fit more than my father's reception was in the house. So
Wow.
the cantina was the wine cellar was used as the room. for everybody to sit and eat. You know,
How old is the house, Fred? I think it's
500 years old.
you
Yeah.
told me,
Approximately. We don't have the exact.
Right.
No, I have to look back into it, but